have seen it. Could you see, am I recording? Can you see if I'm recording?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
you are.
Okay, great.
You need to maximize the screen, don't you?
Hmm.
The PowerPoint.
Okay. Max, do you want it slide or slide?
Yeah, like slideshow.
Okay.
But if you look at the bottom here, or do F5. Okay.
Okay. So, good afternoon, Gloria. How are you today?
I am very well, thank you, Christine. How are you too?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm so, how will I say that? I feel so light within me, and I think it's because of the sun that is out.
I know.
So, yeah, I feel very happy and very cheerful, and just I've come alive, just like a flower just coming out.
Blossom.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel. And what of you, Kate, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. The sun is shining, so it's good. I feel very good.
Great. So once again, to all the participants, let me introduce our co-host here, who is Councillor Gloria Opara from Medway Council, and she is the director and founder of CYBERSECURITY, and a company that is, she will tell us what it is. So when she comes in, that's really exciting to have you on board today, Gloria. Do you want to introduce yourself to our listeners and participants?
Yes, thank you, Christine, again. Hello, everyone. It's Gloria. My name is Gloria, and like Christine said, I am an elected member of Medway Council. So this is my second term as a councillor. As well as that, I also run my own company, Cyber Engineers, where we train people into the field of cybersecurity. And also we offer consultancy for small businesses and people working from home. Our vision really is to increase the number of cybersecurity professionals. And beyond all that, I'm just loving being on the sofa with Christine and Kate, who has joined us recently. It's been such an exciting journey. I can't believe almost 10 weeks have come and gone and doing this. So it's been marvelous. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to think that, you know, we've come this far. And also I'm excited about the future, what it holds. I know that so many of the things we've discussed on this platform in the last 9 weeks or so will definitely play a big part in my business and my life going forward. So yeah, thank you.
Great. So, so welcome everybody. And today, just like Gloria mentioned, it's been quite a journey for us to get here to where we are now. And taking that on board, this particular session is a recap or a recapitulation of all the things that we've done from the day that, you know, from the lockdown period. The first time the lockdown was instituted till now. So we want to reflect on what we've done, what we've achieved, what's left to be achieved, lessons to be taken forward, and then put plans in place for the new normal, which very soon, in the next week or so, most of us are going back to work. And so we want to know how to carry forward all the things we've done into the new normal place of work. So join us to reflect on what we've been doing. So the agenda today is that we've welcomed everybody already. we have introduced our co-hosts for this On Your Sofa discussion. We've actually welcomed again and again our friend here and participant, Kate Moss, okay, who recently joined us on the sofa.
By the way, she is the real Kate Moss.
This is the real Kate Moss. She's an artist. This particular Kate Moss is an artist. Okay, and so we'll reflect the last thing we did last week, or on Monday, last Monday, we touched upon assertiveness and how to sound assertive and positive. So that was the last thing we did. But we now need to go back and look at from the first day that we started On Your Sofa discussions. What did we do and how did we do it? So let's look at the first thing that we did. Yes. Do you remember this, Gloria?
Yes, of course.
That was the first thing. Our first discussion, living beyond COVID-19. Wow.
Yesterday we actually had, was it 2 rehearsals we had before we did this also?
Exactly. Really come a long way. Living beyond was it on the 22nd?
Yeah.
Of,
yes, something like that. Yes.
Of March.
It was March. Yeah.
Yeah, it was March.
Wow.
It was March. So we're looking at, that was when the lockdown was announced, social distancing, staying at home.
Yeah.
I say isolated. Just don't go anywhere. Stay within your family. And we as women, God, we had a shock. That was electric shock, It was a shock in our system because here we are. We weren't looking forward to the lockdown. And so we didn't get prepared, our beauty things and all that. The image is important, Like I keep saying to you people, looking good is good business. And so we didn't have enough time to equip ourselves, to beautify ourselves for the lockdown. So Gloria and myself, we are mourning at that time. Oh my goodness, what happens to our hair? What happens to our nails? What happens to that? And it happened that I came back from Houston, Texas then, and I had these long, very long nails, and I didn't know what to do. They were now a huge problem in my life.
Very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable, Gloria. You remember how I used to cry? The nails were cutting deep into my skin. And I was saying, Gloria, I will pull this nail out of my fingers. I will do this, I will do that. And it was based on that, Gloria, isn't it, that we thought about how do we cope? How can we cope? We need to start talking to one another. And it was decided that we should use Zoom platform to just reach out, comfort ourselves, first of all, and then reach out to our fellow social distancers if there's something.
Because we felt that if we were going through that problem, millions of other women were going through the same, and rather than just sit back and suffer and learn, let's reach out to others and see who could offer us help.
Exactly.
Sharing good practice, and that's how it evolved. I think it was in April because we talked about it in the first week of the lockdown, or after the first week of the lockdown.
Yes.
And then we started putting things into place. One thing I have to tell you guys, you don't know this, right? And you didn't hear it, but I want to tell you about Christine. At the time, she had never heard of Zoom. Never mind, she's never used it. So I said to her, you know what? I'm using this for my business, and it's easy. You just have to embrace this. She said, I'm Skype. I do Skype, and that's it. I said, well, Zoom is something that everyone is using.
Yeah.
The first time, just to tell you her, her character and determination. You know, she doesn't swear, but she blasphemed a few times about Zoo. But you know, today, guys, she's running the show. You know, she got her, initially she got a free account, and then she upgraded it to a premium account. And now, look at her. She's sharing the screen, recording, and she's a pro. But it was interesting. It was really funny the very first day we started. And I tell you what, if obviously, as with any technology, if you've never used it before, it's a shocker. And then for somebody to say to you, this is your way forward, you know, like we're talking about, why can't we go back on Skype? I'm like, I don't use Skype. At the end, there was a time I kept just saying to her, don't worry, you'll get it. We're going to master this. We're going to master this. And yeah, but by the first show, you had mastered it.
That was, yeah, but you know, the first show, I was listening to it today.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. It was actually great. The difference was that we didn't have any, there was no visual, but just audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just audio. So it means we didn't turn on our, it was just audio. But
Yeah,
that's interesting though.
But we did articulate ourselves very, very well. So I was impressed. And my dear ladies and whoever that is watching this, it's that, you know, it actually now shows that, you know, patience.
Yeah.
Patience.
Determination as well.
Determination.
yeah.
Yeah, it goes a long way, you know. When you're trying to get something to get something right, when you are determined to learn, when you're determined to move, you know, to propel forward, you will definitely you don't let any failure deter you from achieving your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Failure actually is a platform for learning.
Yeah.
So, like I keep saying to you, Gloria, there's treasure to be found in the darkness. In the darkness of lack of skills.
Yeah.
In the darkness of not having the necessary resources. You become very innovative.
That's right.
And that is when you find the light. That's when you find the treasure in the darkness.
And there's always somebody who shares the same ambition or aim as you do. So, you know, you never know where that desire could lead you or that conversation could lead you. Now, Christina and I, even just talking about this, it's not like we've known each other for so many years or we've worked before. This was the first time we were going to do this, but we just felt, you know what, let's embark on something. Let's do it together. And you know what, one of the things, let me talk to women or sisters, you know, it's always good to support one another. Success is all about you helping somebody achieve and somebody helping you achieve. You cannot say you did it all by yourself.
No.
And just sharing. And you know what? I had just picked up Zoom myself only 2 or 3 weeks before, you know, using, because before the lockdown, I had, I still do, we have our training center. That's where all our training and everything happens. And then suddenly we went into lockdown, so we had to start training online. But just talking and sharing with Christine, and she's sharing with me also, we came up with something that, you know what, it's outlived what we thought, because we didn't even know. It was supposed to have ended some weeks back. But look, here we are, you know, so it's good to talk, it's good to share, and it's good for you to be willing to learn and also be willing to support, you know. And I'm sure, I don't know, I'm not speaking for you here, Christine, but I definitely have had a great time doing this.
Of course, it's been, I'm dreading not doing this, So, you know, we had a chat and you're going back to your business and all that. But I'm dreading not doing it. So, because it's contributed to my own personal growth, actually. And I'm sure that it would have, in one way or the other, helped those that have been watching also. So I'm going to add this to into some of the ways that we work in Diversity House. It's not going to go away. So this will be a platform that I'm going to get different people to talk, people from different walks of life, people with different skills, and you know, to come in and talk about what they do and their own experiences. I'm going to use this to actually talk with service providers, commissioners, businesses, and also people. So this is going to be a platform. I'm actually in talks with some organization now to see how I will build this up to so it's something that is going to grow. It's going to have a mind of its own.
It should.
And, yeah, it should.
That's good.
So great. So the second discussion actually was we were planning this. You remember before our International Women's Day on the 6th of March. You remember we had had series of meetings, and it was supposed to be a workshop, a networking, a social networking crew workshop, and in our center at Phoenix House, but. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it because of the lockdown. So we decided now that it should be a visual, an online kind of social networking and an workshop. And so we carried it off, you know. And that was cybersecurity, the discussion and workshop on cybersecurity. Believe me, I don't know about the participants or those that later went to view it on our website at the Diversity House. But for me, being present that day, Gloria, you're a very, very good teacher.
Thank you.
Very good teacher. Because I was dreading it myself. I was thinking, oh, all this engineering thing, all this security stuff, and it's going to be boring and drab and all that, you see. I was saying I'm going to pull my hair out, you know, whilst you're doing that. But believe me, we spent nearly how many? Nearly 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know, doing this on that day using this platform. It was very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was very, very interesting. So on your cybersecurity, the workshop on that day, we looked at, you know, it was basic. It was for beginners, you know, for everybody within the family, because during this social distancing, everybody, even grannies, everybody actually.
Yeah, they took on doing things online. Yeah,
and
true.
So the hackers, the funny green man or the black hooded person would have fields there, you know.
People, yeah, they did.
You know, it's an opportunity to hack and conduct foul play online. And so it was good for everybody to actually get to grips with what is cyber, what is cybersecurity, what havocs could happen on online, what's your personal data, how do you protect your personal data from all those hackers. And you know, you taught us about the white hacker, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You talked about the white. I remember all those ones.
Oh, well done. You're a good student.
And you said the hackers are not just those that wear their food and cover themselves.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So I remember all that. And you talked about protecting the data of your family, you talked about privacy and confidentiality, and you talked about the devices at home. And I remember that prior to that time, we've not actually gone back to look at our IP, what do you call it?
IP address.
Yes,
And
exactly.
your router.
Router and all that. So it's something that went back to look at it and upgrade and
Very good.
all.
I'm glad.
So we did, yeah. So that was wonderful. And I will urge anybody that is watching this, and the traffic on our website is very, very high. And
Good.
so if you're one of those that are going to our website and you come across this cybersecurity workshop, do remember that the cyber engineers are there to support you, even if you're a beginner, that they are very good. If somebody like me could learn how to learn anything about cyber and cybersecurity and all the things I'm saying now, then that means that everybody have the ability to, you know, to learn something from it. So you go and make contact with the cyber engineers. What's your website again?
It's cyberengineers.co.uk.
Exactly.
And just to say that even as of today, I've just signed up my marketing team, just enlarging the marketing team because of the demand and potential demand with this remote working, people now working from home, and you know, businesses, a lot of them have now moved, obviously, the offices to their homes, and where in the past a lot of these attacks were focused on the business premises. Okay, a lot of people don't have security at home, and now we are having to do all our banking transactions, even selling from home, e-commerce and what have you, and we don't have as much security at home as we do in our business premises. So what do we think that hackers are going to do? Obviously, hackers will now turn their interest to the home working environment and begin to target them. So today alone, I've had to sign off, increase our marketing team to take that, because we're hoping to get into as many homes as possible to secure home networks, because without which we'll find that even our small businesses will be out of business, not just from coronavirus, but from hackers. And if anyone is sitting out there thinking, well, it's only for big businesses, you're well mistaken, because I think EasyJet, was it not last week or so, you know, and the government also said that what they are now doing, the hackers are doing, they've received information that hackers are targeting key workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they know, for example, the NHS, most of their most of the employees are working from home.
Yes.
They know that a lot of these big businesses, their employees are working from home. So what would they do? They've turned their tactics around and now are targeting remote workers. So you could be a target.
Actually, having said that, you know what I was going to discuss with you after the meeting, after our, you know, so on the sofa discussion, was the possibility of your team or you coming to my home office to actually assess it and see what can be done. Because even when we go back to the new normal, my home office is still going to play a very, very vital role here.
Definitely.
So it has to be secured properly. So that's another discussion which we'll have outside of the sofa discussion.
That'll be lovely. I will, more than happy be available to help you.
Yeah, great. So, and then the third discussion we had was when I received information from the United Nations Global Compact, and you know, showing the statistics of you know, of domestic violence globally, and it's saying that the lockdown has actually increased the prevalence of domestic violence globally. And so we talked about that, and we talked about the causes of this, the increase on the prevalence of domestic violence. Why should people now, you know, we know that there's always been domestic violence, but why it now increased? What has pushed it up? And so we talked about all that, and how it affects, you know, it affects everybody. Domestic violence is not just a women, not just for women, but for women, there are peculiar issues that could lead to, women, being victims of domestic violence. But when people are in isolation, they,
it's even worse, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that, in fact, today I retweeted something from my council, so from Medway Council, again, urging domestic abuse people to reach out, because obviously that in itself is on the rise, it's on the increase, and because people now find themselves in a locked down environment, nowhere to go, and thank God that obviously Boris Johnson has eased it off a bit more.
Yes.
But the impact of the lockdown on many homes have been phenomenal, negatively in that regards. Yeah.
And we talked about that domestic violence against a woman does not just affect the woman, but it affects the children also in that relationship. So, and that's why it's important that it needs to be addressed quickly, and we need to stamp it out immediately. So we talked about that.
And we also talked about the fact that domestic violence is not only towards women.
Yes, we did.
There are some women who are the perpetrators themselves.
Exactly.
And men feel ashamed, just like the woman feels ashamed to reach out. If it's even worse for the man to come out and say my wife or my
partner,
it's hurting me physically. It sounds very embarrassing. And so we urged whoever it is that is going through domestic violence, domestic abuse, to reach out.
Exactly. And then we also looked at the cultural aspect of it also. Then we talked about that for some people in some cultures, they may internalize domestic violence because they may not be allowed to talk about it. It could be a taboo to talk about it, so they do not seek for help. And then we urge them that it's better to seek for help and reach out rather than just staying in, without getting support, because that's people easily get killed because of that issue. And we also talked about women, migrants also. We looked at the issues of migrants, and I particularly talked about the, providing some support for women who are migrants and came into the country on their spousal visas. And the implication of being a migrant on spousal visa and being victimized and abused by this same person that brought you into the country. And sometimes they are, your visa, the spousal visa is being, or your passport is being taken away by this person in order to isolate you and bench you or to take whatever that is dished out to you. So support becomes very, and the people do not know exactly how to go about getting support, or going to getting into refuge, more especially during lockdowns also. So lots of things to navigate, being new in the country, also not knowing the culture of the new country that you find yourself, not having lots of friends or trusted friends that you could talk about and explore the issues and find support. But we did urge them and we gave them actually referred, signposted them to organizations that could provide support for them. So, and I hope that some people took this on board and reached out to get the support that they needed, rather than die silently.
Yeah, and so that we're not repeating what we've already said, if you, I would encourage everyone to really go and watch that show or that event, the recording on that event, and find it's quite useful. I think we spent about 2 hours.
Yes, we spent quite some time.
So it was very extensive. So you know, because we can't obviously cover everything now.
Definitely.
Let me encourage you to just revisit that discussion and, you know, take action. It is so important that both you and your children especially are safe during this time.
And then, following on from that, the fourth on sofa discussion that we had was on, you know, healthy relationship. So because we wanted to squash this violence against a man or a woman or children. So how do you stop violence in families? You know, is by developing healthy relationships. So it makes sense that the fourth discussion would be on healthy relationship. And so we did speak in depth about the characteristics and the benefits of healthy relationship. Let me not keep talking. You remember, Gloria, what we said. Do help me out here.
Obviously, we talked about what a healthy relationship is and the benefit of it. We try to make people see that what they may be going through, thinking it's the normal, like I think we mentioned cultural expectations. Okay, it may not be normal. And, you know, we compared a healthy relationship with an unhealthy relationship, showing people some of the characteristics of unhealthy relationship. You know, some things even such as controlling your money, controlling who you hang out with, you know, or trying to isolate you from your loved ones and things like that. And, you know, to that extent, we actually encourage people to reach out, howbeit secretly, to loved ones, you know, or to neighbors. We did encourage them to go and just knock on neighbors' door when the perpetrator was not around, just things like that. And that was part of the tips on how to develop and maintain a healthy relationship that we discussed.
That's awesome. That's exactly. And I hope that people actually took that on board. And then, swiftly, you cannot develop the fifth on your sofa discussion was on communication, because obviously, people, if you don't communicate, if you internalize your anger and frustration, that will lead to lashing out, that will lead to violence, and then we'll not have a healthy relationship. You see how this goes, you know? And so if you don't have a healthy relationship, then what happens? So you know, there'll be violence, the family, you know, family will be separated, and alienations and all sorts of things. Alienation, yes. So we decided communication will be the best way forward, because you need to develop good communication in your relationship. Yes, we called that discussion on your sofa discussion, communication as a foundation for healthy relationships. So we looked at the different kinds of, you know, the importance of communication, what is communication, and what are the effective communications? How do you do that? How could you effectively communicate with your partner, with your children, and going forward to the, you know, to the new normal, going back to work? How would you effectively communicate in your team, within teams, you know, and with your clients and all that? So, in fact, everything that we did during this lockdown was not just for lockdown, but going on forward to you returning back to work and into the community.
Yeah, because
the
title of the whole thing was, the initial title was Living Beyond COVID-19, wasn't it?
Yes,
because
exactly.
You know, it wasn't just let's do it for life now. We anticipated even then that there was going to be a new normal.
Yes.
You know, post lockdown, we anticipated, hence the title, Living Beyond COVID-19.
And you know, we're always saying new normal, and now
exactly. Now it's become everybody's using. I think we should be charging them for it, because
the mistake we made, Gloria, was we should have patented that. It's intellectual property.
Yeah, copyright.
Yes, exactly. That's wonderful. And then, wow, quickly, we got to the sixth discussion, on the sofa discussion, which talks about keeping a healthy mental health. Because you see, with the domestic violence, with not having a healthy relationship, with not being able to communicate, all this we compound and compromise your mental health. So we looked at it and said, how do we keep very good mental health? And that was asked it actually, you know. So because I like this adage that says prevention is better than cure. I don't believe in intervention. Yeah, I may be a public health person, but believe me, I prefer health promotion, because if health promotion talks about prevention and not intervention, not clinical, not medical, you know. And so we felt that we need to help people to be able to deal with their relationship, to be able to, you know, not internalize their frustrations and anxiety and pains, and be able to openly and effectively communicate such, you know, such issues. And because that will be a platform, a foundation for having a very good mental well-being. And so that's what we did. And we get, you know, so you tell us what we did at Gloria.
Now she's testing me. I can tell you one of the tips that you know, really I find even useful now is music, dancing.
Exactly.
You know, that we gave up, just, you know, put the music on, dance. We talked about cooking. We talked about reaching out to friends, you know, your network, and we talked about even you talking to yourself. Sounds crazy, but even looking at yourself in the mirror and shaking yourself up and saying, you know what, Gloria, you've done it before. With God's help, you know, you can do this. You know, come on, get yourself up, Gloria, and start moving, and things like that. Even cooking, baking, and going out for walks.
Yes.
You know,
so I like
out.
That when you're talking to yourself. That's why we talked about self-definition.
That's right.
Self-definition. Yeah. When you said, yes, I can do that. I'm not good enough. I'm better. I know I can do it. And looking at the mirror, you remember when you said, go to the mirror, and we look at yourself and say, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I know I can do that. I'm good enough to do that. You know. So you self-determine, self-definition, and self-affirmation. You do not wait for people to say, oh, Gloria, what a beautiful lady. Before they say it, you already know you're a beautiful lady, and you say to, oh yes, thank you, I know that. Thank you, you're welcome. Thanks for saying it again, you know? So self-affirmation. So, and all that, that's really wonderful. And I've been taking that on board, and each morning I wake up and I just look at myself, look at myself in my, in the mirror, and I say to myself, Christine, go on, girl, you go get them today. Yeah, that's what I say. Go get them today. You're so good, man. You're so good. And that keeps me going all day, because I've said to myself, you're a really wonderful girl. You can do it. You just go get it. And I do that. So that's wonderful. And I believe that each and every one of us can do it. You know, I really get worried when people wait for other people to tell them that they're lovely, they're wonderful, they can do something. Don't wait for people to tell you.
I mean, there might be people who are out there suffering from, obviously, acute mental health issues. And for them, they might need that constant reminder of who they are, how good they are, a constant affirmation from a loved one. And for people like that, we did advise for them to go out and seek medical help, seek counseling. You know, and it's not everyone that can get up in the morning, look at themselves in the mirror. Some people don't even want to come up Some people do not want to get up in the morning.
Oh,
So if that is still you, you know, the lockdown may well have helped to hide your condition, because suddenly everybody was in bed, everybody was at home. Now, it is time for people to be allowed to go back to work, and you are dreading God stepping up. Please, 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 there is help available. You know, talk to Mind, call Diversity House if you don't know where to go. I'm sure Christian will be more than happy to put you in the right direction. You are not on your own. There are so many other people in the same situation. And just because you can't do what Christian and I were talking about doesn't mean you're a failure, or doesn't make you a less than human being than the ones we were talking about before.
Well done, Gloria. Well said. Well encapsulated.
That's good.
The idea, because you really pointed it out, we actually signposted them to places where they could go. We advised them to use talking, you know, they could go and have talking therapy and all sorts of things. And so well done for, you know, highlighting that very, very clearly. We are no person is the same, you know. We're all different people, and we are, you know, our coping strategies and resilience are quite different. So, yeah. So thank you for noting that. And then we also now the 7th. So we got to the 7th already.
So this is the 7th week.
That's the 7th one. The 7th one was assertiveness, you see, because we realized that, you know, no one can be assertive all the time. So we said assertiveness, your route to success. But we said, and we made it clear that no one is born assertive. Assertive is a learned, you know, it's a learned behavior. You've got to learn to be assertive. And no one is always assertive all the time. There are situations where it seems as if you're falling apart, as if you've lost confidence and, you know, and self-esteem, or the ability to yeah, so you're not born with that. So we talked about it. What is assertiveness, and how do we, you know, how do we get about it? Do you want to add something, Gloria?
Now, one thing that I would like to add is that there is a very, very fine line between being assertive and being aggressive. Okay, and being assertive is when you obviously you try to defend your position without disrespecting someone else. Okay, it's a win-win for you, the negotiator, and the other person, the recipient. Okay, however, being aggressive, it's you are the only one in consideration. Okay, and I think that's what it is. I'm going to take this call. Can you just carry on? This is, please. Sorry.
We do that. We do that. So then we found ourselves talking about the 8th discussion at this time on the sofa discussion, which we continued with the exploration of assertiveness and behaviors. We focused on 4 types of behavior, actually. We talked about being, you know, the passive behavior. We talked about aggressive behavior. We talked about passive aggressive and assertive. So that was, you know, we really, really did highlight and looked at the, you know, the features of these 4 different kinds of behaviors. And I will also signpost all the listeners, you know, our participants, to go back to that particular recording, which is on the website, the Diversity House website, to check on it and listen, because it's really helpful to go back and listen to it carefully. So that's what I would say to that. You want to say something, Kate? Are you okay?
Yeah. I think I remember that particular subject we discussed about being assertive, and also knowing how to present yourself, and knowing how to to compose yourself and not being intimidated by your environment,
Yeah.
and being confident to and speak clearly, and communicate clearly, and know how to interact with people, especially to have a view of your environment and where you are at that particular time and place. So yeah, it was for me, that was very good. I think I was in that particular discussion. Yeah. So it was really good and eye-opening.
Sorry about that. The life of a businesswoman. Apologies.
Of course, that's what you're multitasking. Yeah, which is good, which is really good. So yes, we talked about that. So we quickly now again, Gloria and Kate, we find ourselves and nice discussion at this time. Wow, we have been very busy, ladies. So we have found ourselves in the night discussion, which talks about the continuation again of the assertiveness and all that. So, but we're looking this time, we're looking at negative attitude and aggressive behavior. And as the cartoon there shows, assertiveness and aggression we're not identical twins.
No, definitely not.
We're not identical. So you say we looked at those negative behaviors that could really, really rattle somebody. They could rattle you, like when people put you down, when others feel have this spirit of superiority, and you feeling that kind of inferiority complex and all that. When people try to take control of situations and take control of you, as if they could manipulate you, and you are a little, the string man, they're stringing you all over the place. So, and we looked at, the thoughts, disinterested in, how the aggressive person is disinterested in other people's thoughts and their feelings, which you mentioned earlier, Gloria. Do you want to take up that again? I think that.
I mean, like I said, especially for people from within the BAME community as well, or anyone who feels marginalized in society. Okay, the tendency for you to, in wanting to become assertive, it is so easy for you to fall into being aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay, because obviously, you get fed up of being trampled on, of being, ignored or without being considered for promotion and things like that. So it is almost natural for you to feel that you have now got to defend and look after yourself. But you need to know that being assertive means that you cannot disrespect other people in wanting for you to get along in your place of work or at home. You have to be able to, obviously, don't sell yourself short, but be a good negotiator where at the end, you and the other party, you gain. Okay, well, I'm just looking at the whole thing, Christine, that we spent a lot of time looking at assertiveness than with any other. Why is that so? The reason I personally would think is that being assertive, it's almost like the main ingredient when we're talking about a good relationship, when we're talking about having a good career, being successful at work, being successful at home. It's all about communication, how I communicate my needs.
Exactly.
How I negotiate my path through, being at the bottom to becoming somebody that is well respected in my home or in my organization. Therefore, it was important, it was necessary for us to spend that time. I think a series of 4 or so different discussions on assertiveness. And so as we go into life, after lockdown, it is important, it's imperative for us to know that aggression will not get us anywhere, because people don't like being disrespected.
No.
So they may well deserve it because of the way they have treated you. I think in one of the conversations that we actually had was that you can actually be assertive without being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so it is well necessary. It is so necessary for us to revisit all the different discussions that we've had on being assertive. And especially because we said no one is born assertive. And we don't feel assertive all the time. So it might be necessary for me to remind myself of some of the discussions that we've had going forward, right? And anyone to do it. And there's no point feeling superior over anyone else. You're not better than them just because, you know, they find themselves, or you find yourself above them, okay? Even if you feel better than them, you know, there's a way you also conceal your arrogance or pride or your achievement without having it. As I keep saying this, it's so important for us to know that the other person is a human being. Do not, in your attempt to promote yourself, to promote your well-being, please do not put anyone else down. Do not disrespect another human being.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So that's really wonderful. So it's good for us to be mindful of the way we comport ourselves and the way we try to communicate with other people. Thank you, Gloria, for that. You know, articulating that very clearly and simplifying it. So we looked at the 10th discussion now. Wow, we are going places. And that was still the continuation of, you know, assertiveness and, you know, being the foundation for success. Looking at positive attitude and assertive behavior. And we thought that they go together, you know, the assertive behavior and positive attitude or outlook goes hand in hand. So, and, you know, we looked at self-confidence and high self-esteem, respect for self, and, you know, some of the features that makes up positive attitude, you know. And so we looked at, you know, being the ability to listen to somebody, because some people don't know how to listen at all. They talk over you, you know, they can't listen to you. You're talking, they're talking at the same time. They're not able to actually to take feedbacks, you know. Sometimes they ask you for feedback, but when you give it to them, so there'll be a falling out, you know, because they don't really want the feedback, actually. So we talked about all sorts of things, but, you know, receiving feedbacks, talking to people and listening to people and being honest and transparent. And most of the other features that we have on this slide are ways of, you know, that positive attitude and the ways also to help you to be assertive. Am I right, Gloria and my friend Kate?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're very right.
Yeah.
I was just going to bring Kate in here.
Yes.
Obviously, Kate is very new to Kent.
Yes.
And it must take some assertive behavior, some assertiveness for you to have left where you were and starting a new life here. I wonder if you could just share with us some of the things that you've had to, with regards to having a positive behavior and being assertive, that have helped you to get to where you are, and also to help you to cope. Especially you just moved and then suddenly there was a lockdown.
I know. So it was so challenging. Yeah, thank you very much, Gloria, for giving me this chance. You know, yeah, it's one of those things that for me, I've been kind of positive assertiveness from when I was very young. So I'm outward looking. I'm one of that person in a group that will jump out and say, okay, I'm going the other way, and everyone is going the, you know. So I will negotiate and make my point why I must go that way and why I must do this stuff, because that's how I think I can, you know, be able to move forward with whatever I'm thinking about by them. But I thought I stayed where I used to live for about 13 years. So when my daughter grew up and she went to university and now she's graduated, so I thought it was time for me to seek a new life somewhere and in a brand new place to kickstart my passion, to kickstart my, you know, enthusiasm to be able to create new things and look at things in a different, with fresh eyes. So that's why I moved down to, it was through work that moved me down to Maidstone, because I travel a lot with my work. So I got to Maidstone and I saw that it's a nice place and it's not far from London. And I wanted to move down to London, but my daughter said, no, I don't think you'll be able to cope in London. So I saw Maidstone. I thought, oh, that's a nice place. It takes like 45 minutes or 47 minutes to drive from here to London. So yeah, so I decided to move down here. Then I started looking at things and places. Then I got introduced to you, thankfully. So that's how we, you know, I got started. It's not been easy because I was to start a new job when the lockdown came in.
Mm-hmm.
So now everything has stopped, and I don't know what's going to happen. So but I've been doing some training online and talking to you as well. They have helped a lot, and people have supported me. Joyce have supported me. A lot of people, you know, new people I've just met like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They've been great support. My neighbors came down to me and put stuff through my door. If you need help, you know, give us a ring and we
good.
can, you know, so yeah, so it's been great. I've not learned much, you know, about my area and my surrounding because I've not gone out to do things I would like to do, but I've learned a lot and yeah, so I'm grateful. So I'm learning a lot from you ladies, you know, mighty ladies.
Well,
we're just human beings. We're not mighty.
Yeah, we're learning from, you know, one another.
Exactly.
You might be surprised why I asked you the question is because I know that, you know, each one of us will have different experiences, different journeys, and your journey may inspire something that I have within me, and vice versa. And Christine, I'm not going to let you off also with this question because you know what. Running your charity for over 13 years, you know, at a time when many charities collapse, you know, it must take some positive attitude and assertiveness. Now, if you run your charity, right, in London, for example, where there are a lot of your type, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? It will be okay. I can understand you know, you did it in London where people are used to your type of person and your ethnicity and whatever, but you're doing it as well. Where, you know, some people will say, where is that on the map? You know, where's well, is it in Scotland? You know. Tell us, you know.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's good that you brought this up because I ask myself this question all the time. Right, like you rightly said, if the charity Diversity House is situated in London, it's by now it should be a global, it should be an international charity. But being where it is, being in Swell, that even people in Kent don't, do you know how many times I went to Margate and I went to an IPRR consultation, talking about social justice, economic justice, you know. And when I introduced myself and I said I'm from Swell, people were asking me, where is that?
That's what I'm saying.
Then at Canterbury, at the University of Canterbury, you know, doing my PhD, so we're in a conference and I was introducing myself and somebody said, so whereabouts is that? And I was just saying it's just about 10 miles or so.
Yeah, exactly.
Not up to 20 miles from here. So think about it. So nobody even knows what I'm talking about. And at the time I started the charity, in 2007, we have less than 0.5%
I can imagine.
Are from any of the minority communities.
That's true. That's true.
So it was actually very, very difficult. If I'm somebody that wants, I don't take no for answer. I'm not easily I don't easily run away, when I don't back down when the going goes tough. The going goes tough, I go tough myself. I go tougher myself, So that's what I do. And it's been difficult. The charity would have really grown. Because, funny enough, we are known outside of this country more than we are known locally. Because of the things we do. Often I'm called in Germany, I'm called in America, I'm called in other places. I'm actually even called in places like where Scotland and all that to do things that I'm called locally to do things. And that tells you the attitude of people when we started the charity, even though the name is Diversity House, which shows that it's an all-inclusive charity, but the mindset of people at the time was, because the face of Diversity House is a woman that appears, black, so it must be for black people alone. You see what I mean? Yeah. And you also have to put in more than 100% of everything that I do in order to convince people that of our credibility, of our desire to bring change. You've got to give all your social capital in order to actually. So if the mainstream charity is doing 50%, I've got to do 200%.
Yeah, you have done during this lockdown.
And you know what's been going on during this lockdown. Even though we're a very small charity, but we've never stopped. Yes. As I'm speaking to you now, I've just got something on the other computer here, Global Donation Management, ASDA. I need to go to pick, to collect donation after 5 o'clock now. After this discussion, I've got to go get some volunteers, and we've got to go collect donation, and we have to go package the donation and go door to door to drop this donation. And which some mainstream charities are sitting down waiting for the lockdown. Exactly. So, but we don't have that the option to do that. And also when it comes to funding, it becomes difficult because I was telling you about some people that gave me funding of £3,000.
Yeah. Did you get
what I needed to do with what I needed was £15,000. Yeah. They didn't even meet me halfway at all. And I've been told now to the monitoring. If you see, what do you want to monitor? So I told you that I'm going to give back, return it. I'm doing the work. It's just to show people that it's not because of whatever they want to give to us. Yeah. Money actually doesn't change anybody's mindset. If you want to do something, if you're motivated, if you're a giving person, it's in you to give. You give. It doesn't matter what it takes. You find a way to give. Diversity House is a charity that wants to give, that wants to contribute to the society. So we find innovative ways to do it. It's not by the 10p or 1p that some people drop in here and to justify all righteousness. So that when they're doing their accounts, they say, oh, we gave one lady that looks black. We gave to that charity of that lady that looks black.
So to fulfill statistics, the stats.
Exactly. So that's not the issue. So at the end of the COVID, we return their money, but we have our evaluation and people and testimonies that people will give for what we did during the COVID. You know what I mean? So thanks for asking that question. So it takes positive attitude
Yeah.
The attitude of I can do. I'm motivated to do it. I want to take responsibility for myself and, and to do good. And, whilst I'm doing it, I will respect myself, but I will not tread on other people's toes in doing that. So these are all the things that it takes. And I think that's the platform to propel you further in anything. And my advice is that once people are going back to this new normal, back to their communities and back to their places of work or looking for new employment, do actually look at yourself and self-examine yourself and say to yourself, listen, I want to get ahead. I want to get ahead in my business, in my career, in the community, in anything that I do. But I want to do it respectfully, respecting myself and respecting the next person. And I want to do it because I'm motivated to do it, because I have a purpose to serve. I have some good contributions to make.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And whilst you're doing it, you're listening to people and assessing what people are saying to you and taking them on board.
That's very good. That's very good. That's really good.
Yeah, that's good. Obviously, we all need that as we move beyond COVID-19. We are going to look back on these days, this era, and for some of us, we'll be thankful that we made some changes in our lives. For others, I hope not too many, it will be regret that the period of the lockdown was used for nothing meaningful. And assertiveness, being assertive, it's one of the key ingredients that would help anyone to establish a better life for themselves in this new normal that we're going into. And we can see that the new normal has already started.
Yes.
Is it even like going to your bank and you have 2 meters apart? Normally you will go in and out. But now you're more likely to spend 2 hours just for you to go and see somebody in the bank or to pay in a check or something like that. So how can we begin to do things differently? How can we become the better negotiators?
Great. Thank you very much, ladies, for your contribution.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I didn't hear that. Tell me.
Did you hear that?
What? No.
Oh, okay. The NHS responder.
Oh yes, I had that. So what are you going to
Let
do it?
me see who it is. Sorry.
So you see, that's why I say multitasking. So that's great.
You're being called out.
Yes, I am being called out. Can I take this, please? Just 1 minute.
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll talk with
take it. We'll continue talking, but do take the call. It's important.
Can I follow up with one thing you said earlier that where you advise that people should look into doing new things and moving on and everything and all that. That's really, really good because as I said earlier, I'm learning and I'm getting to know you ladies very well. We've not met, both of us. Me and Gloria, we've only met once.
Yeah.
We've not met yet. So so I spoke to Gloria over and over again concerning, she knows most of the things I'm doing. I'm trying to do, another being with the creative work. So I said to Gloria, listen, I think this is a good opportunity for me to start, doing stuff with my business and all that. Yeah. And she said, yeah, why? I would advise you to do that. So so I'm really gaining something from this discussion, and I'm learning as well. So I'm really pleased that you guys have brought this forward.
Okay, I'm really happy to hear that it's of benefit to you. And so do not disengage. Gloria may be busy with her business, so you're welcome to always join us on this platform.
No
because
problem. Yeah.
it's a platform that you use to learn, and all of us are learning anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And as a businesswoman as well, I think I'll also benefit by, you know, like picking your brain and all that, having a discussion on how to move forward and how to go
Exactly.
forward, which area to go to if I'm, you know, like, you know, so all that's the question and answering, that's how we help each other. So
Exactly.
I am benefiting more,
Exactly.
more from the show than, you know, so yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm really
Yeah.
happy that it's making impact then, because that's what we want to see happen anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So our 11th discussion at this time, again, that's the 11th session of the On Your Sofa discussion, was we continued on assertiveness and sounding confident. And you were present on this discussion.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
So we were talking about confidence. It's about communication, how you communicate, you know, your feelings, how you feel. But you know, we talked communication is another key way of communicating it, because your pitch, the pitch that, you know, of voice, the volume and the quality of what comes out. This all will show the person that is at the receiving end of what is saying. Tell them whether you are confident enough or, you know, you're sounding confident anyway. You're sounding confident, but whether you're really confident, that's another question.
Well, sometimes, you know, the confidence kind of like, where are you confidence, you know? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we talked on that one. So, and then, wow. So the 12th discussion, women and COVID. But this discussion, Gloria was not there. This was a discussion that I had with one of our women. When COVID-19 started, nobody actually talked about making masks for people, you know, carers in community, in care homes.
Yeah.
Everybody was focused on making scrubs for the NHS staff. So the care home people were not really thought about or thought of. So this lady and my good friend, Selvon Pediachi lives in Brussels, in Kent. You know, you've heard about Brussels?
No.
Okay. Brussels is a place in Kent here. So she and some groups of women around there, they thought about making face masks with for carers in care homes. And not only did they start making this face mask by using old maybe duvet covers and linen sheets and all sorts of things, cottons. Also, you're back from your
Sorry, yes.
response. Yeah. So
they contact us through an app. So
yeah,
I've just been in touch with the lady. She's got something at this moment. So.
Okay, so great. So I know that after this you'll be on your walkabout to fulfill some of the jobs you need to do. But I was telling Kate here that one of the discussions we had, you weren't involved in this, and that was the discussion that I had with one of the ladies, one of my very good friends, who live in Brussels. You know where it is, don't you? So she lives in Brussels, and her name is Selvon Pediachi. Selvon started making, face masks for carers and in care homes when nobody actually thought about it. Everybody was focused to making scrubs for the NHS. So they started doing she and some women locally, and it grew. Not just in Brussels, in Margate, in Thanet, in Maidstone, and all that. And they were asking me actually to form a group in Swell. But I couldn't form a group in Swell because even though we have a sewing club, but the sewing club, the leader of my sewing club was already sewing scrubs for the NHS people. And so she said they are not going to be involved in making masks. But we knew that the, care homes also needed some kind of protective wear to help them.
Yeah.
They sell them, not just the women. We focus on talking about women all the time. But, they said, I have this proverb that I like saying, beside every man,
there's a woman.
Beside every successful man is a woman. And beside every successful woman is a man.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of partnership. The people that live in patriarchal society and patriarchal ways of doing things, they will say, behind every successful man is a woman, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They will turn it that way, behind it. But no, it's
let me say something. Let me make a contribution towards that. Listen, we can also say behind, because when that man comes to fall over, you've got his back. Because a successful man or a successful woman without anyone who's got his back is in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why must I stand behind you? I could stand beside you and hold you when you're trying to
No. Don't forget, there's a saying about somebody having your back.
Yeah.
That's a saying. Yeah, I know that's saying. Yes.
But people fall back. So I'm. No, it's all right.
Okay. No, it's because I'm a feminist and I'm not going to stand for that.
Look, whichever way we look at it, without you being behind him solidly, okay, he may never succeed. I have people, I tell you what, there is a man that I have, one of my mentors, the person actually for whom I owe my company success or even start up to. I was sharing with Kate. And even this week already, he's called me for something else. So he's not, I can say he's behind me. He's backing. That's the word, isn't it? Somebody
that's support. That's the supporting.
That's it. So I think, yeah, beside or behind, either way, you fall.
Yeah. I don't think it doesn't have to even be your partner or whatever. Yeah. It can be someone that is a mentor, someone that, is behind you in everything you're doing, supporting as well. So yeah, but partners are, number one.
Okay, but we're seeing, we're not taking that behind in a very literal way because
no. We only
yeah. So we're talking about support.
We're only joking.
Exactly. So support. So the women that we are sewing this face mask, we're talking about Selvian, my friend Selvian Padiachi. So the women that we are sewing also had some support. That's what I'm saying. From the men, from some men within their space of operation, either is their significant other, or is their neighbor, or is their brother, or whoever is their male figures, we are also part of supporting for them to sew. Sometimes I have the picture. So if you, the video is within the in the website, in the COVID website, where the women were sewing in and the men were ironing the fabric. And the men were also distributing the finished face masks to the places where they were needed. So what that shows the cohesiveness that in everything we do, be it at home, be it in our place of work, we need to have this kind of cohesive way of doing things. Because I don't believe in, a tree cannot make a forest, you know what I mean? So you need lots of trees with different branches, held tightly together in order to form, and then you need some shrubs and bushes in order to make up a forest. So we need one another.
Yeah.
We totally need to be one another and support one another. And so that was what this discussion of women and COVID. So just forget that I said women, but when you listen to what the lady was saying and the video that I attached, you see that it's not, women cannot stand alone by themselves, just like men cannot stand alone by themselves, just children cannot stand alone by themselves. We all, we are social animals. We need one another. We totally need one another, you know, to actually excel in anything that we do.
And this is the thing going forward, that we, you know, my expectation, my hope is that we do not lose what we have gained in the period of the lockdown, where we have had to stick together, we have had to work together, we've had to, you know, even get to support one another. I hope that people don't just go off to work and forget the good life that even communities have come to share together during this period of the lockdown.
Yes. So that's that one. And then that swiftly now brings us to Global Day of Solidarity. Oh, yippee, we found it. So we retrieved the recording of our Global Day of Solidarity.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we did. So it was retrieved. And that was very good. That was on Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah, a week today.
A week today, yes. So where we talked about, you know, we joined hands with the United Nations in celebrating the Global Day of Solidarity by narrating the positive actions being taken in our states of operations to actually help people to cope with COVID-19. So each and every one of you ladies, you actually said to us, narrated your own personal experience of the COVID and what you've been doing individually or collectively in supporting your communities to cope with COVID. Gloria, you narrated, yes, your counselor job, your duties that you owe to your ward in Medway, you keep, you know, you make sure that the people residing within your wards, you're communicating with them and doing things for them, and as much as you can under the circumstances. And you also, not only are you doing that, but you picked up added duties of, you know, being an NHS respondent. With the apps, the NHS will call up, you know, request for people to pick up prescription or whatever it is that may be needed for an individual, a patient. And you, since we are here today talking, we've had you pick up how many calls already and dealt with that, multitasking, you know, as much as you can. And Kate also, you know, narrated her own experience of finding herself in a new environment and, you know, getting to cope and to understand who her neighbors are and all that. And also being motivated to do more once the lockdown comes to an end. And my patron, Rosemary Diamond, the Deputy Lieutenant of Kent, was saying how the lieutenancy job, you know, was stopped momentarily, but that did not stop her from participating in her tiny village somewhere off Gravesend, manning village shops, doing growing plants and trying to, you know, decorate the village and, you know, supporting one another in a tiny village. Because, you know, if people have not lived in a village, in the countryside in the UK, then you will not understand what we're saying. Most of those villages, you have only one pub, and the one pub will be the center for, you know, or the hub for socialization. It will also be the shop, the supermarket. It will be the church. If you know, sometimes it could be the church. It could be the leisure center. It could be the post office also. It doubles up for everything. And so the community, the villagers really depend on that, on that place. And for our, Rosemary Diamond putting time to make sure that they're distributing food from that shop and manning the shop and all that. That was very commendable. Like all of you ladies have been wonderful. And then I narrated the story of Diversity House and all our volunteers and what they've been doing during COVID and how innovative we have actually turned ourselves to be. And that's awesome.
Well done. Well done. It's been good.
It's been very good.
It's been very good.
It's been very good.
Yes.
So, and that quickly brings us now to, we're having a good time. So that brings us to what's going to happen on Monday. So we are quickly winding down to our new normal life, because we've been doing this every twice a week. So, but with the way things are going, because most of us will be going back to work, to our places of work. Most of us, we need to assess our businesses and how our businesses will be going forward. And we need to really grow our businesses and put things in place for the new normal, And so this On Your Sofa will be a platform to embrace the new normal, but also to encourage people to take on whatever the new normal is, to take it up positively and ride with it, ride with the tide. So we'll be holding On Your Sofa, but it will definitely be once a week. And on Monday, we're going to have Councillor Sarah Stevens of the Swell Council, Borough Council, who is a medical personnel and also an expert in yoga. She's going to come and tell us about yoga and the different types of yoga, and particularly the yoga that we know, and meditation that we need to get ourselves prepared to get back to our new normal, get back to work, because some of us are going back to work next week. So that's what we'll be looking forward to on the 1st of June, which is Monday, 1st of June at 3 o'clock. So I'm excited to hear what Sarah, Sarah likes to talk, and she's so articulate and just like you, Gloria. So she's going to talk, and I'm looking forward to that discussion myself. Yeah, because I need to calm my nerves. I need to meditate. Running a small charity is not very easy. It's just that people say I make it look easy. It's actually totally tough,
It's no organization. It's demanding. Running any organization at all. So that's good. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
And thank you, Kate, for keeping us company.
Yeah. No, thank you for inviting me.
It's been lovely.
It's been lovely, but now I want to stop this recording, which, where is it?
You've switched something off.
I don't know what it is. What did it switch off?
All right, it's come up back.
Because I cannot see. I can't see anything.
Should be at the bottom.
Is it pause share? I can't see. Okay. I see.
After share.
No, it's not even there. It went to more.
Okay.
It went to more. Stop recording. Okay. So that's what this one does here. Okay, where are you? So stop recording. And do you want to stop recording?
Is it frozen?
She's yeah. Yeah.
It's frozen.